Okay, Peggy. Okay. Spotlight. And how do we feel if I spotlight you in the video for purposes of demonstration? Thumbs up? Awesome, thanks. Muting. So recline back on your setup here. We've got a little pillow sandwich. I've put a block in between to give myself that extra support. Whew. You want to make sure everything's nice and propped, especially your head and neck. Feet together, knees wide, arms outstretched really long. If you haven't already pressed play, go ahead. Relax your face, your eye muscles. Relax the muscles in your jaw. And see what's going on with your breath this evening. What's the quality of your breath like? Is it easy, free-flowing, relatively effortless after the day you've had? Or is it the opposite? Just take notice, no judgment, no assessment, just awareness. Almost like clocking it. Like, oh yes, this is how I feel today. It makes sense after the day I've had. And then moving on, checking in with your hips, your knees, your feet, your ankles. And start to deepen your inhales and lengthen your exhales. So really slow it down as you breathe out. Doesn't matter where, nose or mouth. You can even think about putting your breath into your hands, putting your breath into your feet. And as you do that, this awareness of your hands lights them up. You can almost feel energy, a surgence in your hands and in your feet. Now, tonight's class is focused primarily on releasing your fears. Upper body and fear goes hand in hand. When we're scared, we hunch over, we cower. We round the shoulders in, we sort of cave. And it's a protective mechanism. Your body's just doing its best. It's reacting to your environment. And you're doing what you need to help aid all of those patterns, all of those movement patterns reacting to your environment. Give yourself grace. Be easy on yourself. An affirmation for you. When I slow down, I experience the joy of the present moment. You can say this internally. You're welcome to say it out loud. It's really just for you, any way you need it. When I slow down, I experience the joy of the present moment. Just a couple more breaths. See how big you can grow your belly and your chest. When I slow down, I experience the joy of the present moment. All right, start to reach your arms anywhere. Just reach them. Up, sideways, backways, however. You get to decide what backways means. And then hands come to the outsides of your thighs. Let's encourage those thighs together. Give yourself a couple windshield wipers with your legs side to side. Yeah, good work. And then take it on over to your left side for fetal pose. Fetal pose. You'll come off the blocks. We will use the bolster or your pillow underneath your ribs here. So turn it perpendicular or parallel to the mat, right below the ribs, underneath the shoulder. I like to use my bottom arm as a pillow. You can actually use a pillow or a blanket if you prefer, and then the top arm will come up and overhead. Nice. Easy breaths in. Fetal pose represents rest, rejuvenation, growth. This pose stretches and elongates your spine. And it relaxes tension in your chest, your neck, your shoulders. Such a beneficial place to be. You sort of come back to this sense of who you were when you first entered this world. An affirmation for you here. I release all self-doubt. I release all self-doubt. Easier said than done, I know. But it really, really matters. Your belief in yourself really matters when it comes to overcoming your fears. And it's a muscle, just like anything else. You don't magically wake up and believe in yourself. You have to practice it. You have to practice putting yourself in tough situations. You have to practice saying it. I believe in me. I believe in me. I believe in me. Until it just becomes reality. I release all self-doubt. All right, big breath. Try to expand your ribs as wide as they'll go. Exhale. Lovely. Now here, you'll just roll on over to the other side. Any way you want. There's really no right or wrong here. Yeah, good. Just make sure it's situated where you want it, that pillow or that bolster. Long, slow, deep breaths help to put you into rest and digest. The parasympathetic nervous system, the vagus nerve, vagus nerve, not Vegas, right? But the vagus nerve is a party. It is the vagus nerve. But it transmits information. I am reading a definition right now. To or from the surface of the brain to tissues and organs elsewhere in the body. And what it does is it helps to slow you down, to put you into rest and digest. It also deals with your senses, your motor functions, swallowing, speech, and all of the parasympathetic nervous system, digestive, respiratory, heart. All through long, slow, deep breaths. It's like body medicine. You are creating your own body medicine. Let these last few breaths be almost like a hum. Make a little bit of noise or vibration on the exhale. A couple more times. And slow and steady. Start to roll off so that you can push that pillow out of the way. You'll come to a seat. And then we'll move through tabletop pose. While you're here, take some side bends. See curving the spine, peeking over one shoulder and the next. And take some arches and some rounding. Cat and cow. Grab your strap, come to sit back on your heels. Moving through a little bit of shoulder flossing. Some of my favorite stuff. So if you have a traditional strap, grab the metal end and then open it up lengthwise, just a little bit past your elbows. If you're working with literally anything else, don't worry about the metal part, just grab it. Reach it up. You want to be able to pull and your arms won't splay out too much. Bend into your elbows. 90 degrees should be it. I don't want you to be looking like this, trying to pull it. And I also don't want you to be looking like too far out. Find the sweet middle spot. Exhale, bend your elbows. Try to draw the strap towards the tops of your shoulders. A little bit of an arch, maybe open your throat. And then inhale, reach it up. And as you go, you can readjust. See where it's most beneficial. Round, reach those arms long. Try to tap the strap towards your knees. And then inhale, open wide. Bend the elbows, draw them towards your shoulders. Just like that. Really slow here. There's no race. You want to experience each moment with your tissues, with your breath. And then what you can start to add in, something I also do almost every day. Start to straighten up through one elbow. And it'll be at an angle here. And then bend through that same elbow, straighten through the opposite. You'll go back and forth for 2, for 1. And then we switch. Opposite arm straightens up. Bend, straighten. All I can think of is like a sound effect of like, right? Last one. Good. Come back through center. Reach, ditch the strap. Now you can put a cushion or a blanket below your knees. Otherwise, there's really no prop needed for this one. Grip the ground. Thread your right arm underneath, right ear down. Relax right shoulder. Square your chest off so that the left arm comes forward, left shoulder squares down. Then feel free to sit back on your heels if it's a little more sustainable. If your hips are over your knees, it's going to be a little more intense. Yeah. Here for about a minute. Big breaths are a must. Christin, great length through the spine. Really nice. Halfway through, a couple more breaths. Can you breathe into the space between your shoulder blades? My authentic self is of immense value to the world. Start to unthread. And no drama, just switch it, other side. My authentic self is of immense value to the world. I'm guilty of thinking otherwise sometimes. I know we all are, but this one really struck a chord with me as I was preparing today. We can start to think that since there's so many of us, how could we all hold value? But that's just not the case. Each of us at our core, at our authentic center, has something really valuable to offer. We affect the communities and the ecosystems around us. You bring love into your circles. You bring you, and it is so valuable. Last breath in. Exhale, let it go. Unwind. Come up through tabletop pose. And I hate to do this to you. I will give you the option though. You can either come into child's pose or puppy pose. Walk it forward, keep those hips up. This is a big one. We'll be here for a minute. Your options are hips on your heels or hips over your knees. Gorgeous, Sarah. I would put that in a textbook. You're nailing it. Now, where can you find a little bit of space in the places that feel stuck? How can you get unstuck? A little bit of breath. Maybe put a little bit more energy towards the feet, the shins. 20 seconds. Slow breaths. Can you fit 3 breaths in 20 seconds? That's how slow I want it. Nicely done. All right, so we're going to move toward your belly. If you got to come back through tabletop pose, go ahead. Otherwise, you can try to push the floor away and shift your weight forward. Yeah, good. Okay. Now remember that blanket. Bring the blanket one of two ways. One is right below your sternum. Ladies, shelf up the girls. Or, so that's one way. Darren, just imagine if you had a chest. Put it underneath, what would be there? Or you can quite literally split your body in half and lie the length of the whole blanket. This is my preferred method. You decide what you think is best. And then just open up your arms out, sort of like cactus, forehead down. And if you need, you can do one ear and then switch it. And I'll let you know when to switch if the forehead is uncomfortable. We are here for a little bit longer than our last postures. And your affirmation, the truth is, I am blessed, loved, and supported. The truth is, I am blessed, loved, and supported. Three more breaths. I know it's tough to breathe on this. If you haven't switched your ear, do it. Whoops, forgot. You'll be okay, don't worry. I know it's tough to breathe on the blanket. I know. But that feedback is actually so good for your sternum and for your belly. So work with the blanket, deeper breaths. So we'll be here for a little bit longer to honor those that were on their ear. One last breath. See how slow you can make it and see if you can hold it at the top. Gorgeous. And right at the top, hang there for a second. When you do get permission to exhale, I want you to think about your ribs melting off the sides. All right. Begin. Exhale. All the way, all the way. Nicely done. When you're ready, we'll push back towards a child's pose for just a few moments. I can handle anything that comes my way. I can handle anything that comes my way. The universe won't give you anything that you weren't meant to have, that you couldn't handle. All right, start to walk up. We're going to sit back. We're moving towards your back now. But what I want is a nice, big, supportive pillow, fort, or bolster here. If you have an actual yoga bolster, you are elite. I don't even own one. Should get on that. Great, use that here. Otherwise, stack some pillows. Scoot your boot close enough to it, and then lie on your back. You're going to drape your legs over your little fort here. And then if your legs are nearly straight, I want you to scoot a little closer to the bolster for a second here. We'll be here for 30 seconds just to neutralize and ground before we move on. So open up your arms, relax your legs, knees are bent. Rock your head side to side. Nice work. Now, take both knees to one side. So I'm stacking my right knee on top of my left knee. I'm going to scoop my hips back just a bit. And this is where I'll take my twist. Feel free to bring the knees in a little closer. But your legs, your lower legs will be supported by the bolster. Open up your arms like a T and look over towards the opposite direction. Your affirmation. I have the courage to take the next step towards my goals. It is in you. You have the courage. Keep reminding yourself, practice that muscle of telling yourself, I have the courage to take that next step towards my goals. Notice the sensations. Notice how your body feels versus how class began. Notice what it's like for your body to really let go, to really soften. And take your time and start to move in the other direction. The legs will move over. You'll shift the hips as well. And then turn your gaze. Yeah, so really focus on the lower part of the legs being supported. The thighs might feel a little weird to get up on there. So really just the lower portion of the legs. Nice. I have the courage to take the next step towards my goal. Little tingles are normal as well. Tingles are feeling of cold spots. Very normal. I would explain it as maybe just your body adjusting to releasing these places that are stuck, the tendons and the tissues, finally getting some space. And it comes in like prickly fingertips as new blood is introduced. One more big breath. Let's bring your legs back to center. Hips to center. Feet on top of your little bolster setup. And windshield wiper your legs side to side. Reach your arms back as far as they'll go and hook your thumbs. Land with your knees wide, your feet together. And stretch as long as you can. Try to roll the tail up. Yeah, so scoop the low belly down, smush the low back down, and then squeeze the thighs together. Give yourself a big hug. Round like a ball. Open up your thighs, kick your feet back, catch your toes or the ankles, really wherever you can, and find happy baby. We'll rock it side to side. And our last posture before Shavasana will be supported inversion. If you have a wall, you can scoot up next to the wall and send your legs up it. Otherwise, you can do it in the middle of the floor by picking up your hips. Put the bolster, the pillows underneath your hips. And send those legs up. The whole low back needs to be supported by that bolster. Sacrum, the tailbone, everything. Tee out your arms. We're here for 2 full minutes, so make sure it's sustainable. And feel free to open up the soles of your feet, flex your toes, point your toes, roll the ankles out. Made it through your first minute. One more. Exhale. Feet come back to the floor. Let your knees come together. And here are your options for Shavasana. You can keep the bolster right underneath your hips and lengthen your legs out long. If that feels a little too intense, simply remove that. And come back towards our Tootsie Roll blanket. And we'll use it along the spine this time. So a little bit softer than the posture we started with. Shoulders off to either side. Your affirmation here. I am healing. As many times as you need to repeat it. Big breath in. Let it go. A quote from Eckhart Tolle for your week. In today's rush, we all think too much, see too much, want too much, and forget about the joy of just being. As you move through the rest of your week, I hope you can find some time to just be. After all, you're a human being, not a human doing. You're welcome to stay here as long as you need. If you're ready to come up, go ahead. But I will leave you here. I love you. I see you. Namaste. Bella says goodbye. Oh my God, look at those scary eyes. Okay, it's not so bad right now. Night, night, get some good rest.